Alright, so welcome to the third installment of me making my little UFO game. So today my goal is to make some sprites for the little people that are going to run around. And then I'm going to get them to walk around a bit. That's about it. So let's get them added. So let's go ahead and create some sprites. So I'm just going to click in here, and things are getting a little complex, so I'm going to hit create a group. And I'm just going to add a group called UFO Sprites. So that's just a folder, essentially. And then I'm just going to drag all my UFO sprites into there. And then right here, I'm going to hit create a group again. And these are going to be the people sprites. Okay, so now in here, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to create a sprite. And I'm going to call this SPR person. And I'm going to put this guy in a pink shirt. So I'm going to have a couple of these. Oops, and I need to rename this a little bit. So I want this person to be calm and pink. And then we'll have an animated one that's like them waving their arms around a bit. Okay, so I'm going to resize this. Actually, let me go look at something quick. So looking at my UFO sprites, these are 79 pixels high. And just looking at the way my game looks, I think I probably want the little sprites for the people to be about half that size. So I'm going to make my little sprites for the people maybe 40 pixels square. Oops, not 400 pixels square, 40 pixels square. And apply, and then we're going to open this in the image editor. Okay, and then I'm going to make some layers for my little people here. So I'm going to start with a body. So I'm going to grab a filled ellipse tool, and I'm going to make a nice bright pink for a shirt, because I do really enjoy a nice bright pink. So that I think is going to be about right for a body. I'm going to make a little tan head here for my little sprites. I think that'll work. Nope, that looks like trash. Let's scoot that head down a little bit. Make it a little bigger. All right. Let's see. So I'm going to call this layer. I'm going to call this layer body. And I'm just leaving the head on here because I don't need to have the head separated from the body probably. Then I'm going to add a layer here. And this layer we're going to call arms. And we're going to make some little ellipses. These are also going to be pink. And we're just going to stick some little ellipses off this side here. Okay, so there's ellipses. And we want to give them some little tan hands. Okay, cool. That's arms. Great. We're going to add another layer. This layer is going to be called legs. Oops, and I wasn't capitalizing things before, so I should be capitalizing things now. Okay, and the legs, we're going to put our little guy in some blue jeans, basically. So, oops. His left leg's wider than his right leg. Let's see. I think I'm actually gonna keep the right leg. I'm gonna scoot that up a little bit. I'm just gonna go ahead and select this leg and delete it. I'm gonna select this leg and copy it without smearing it everywhere. And I think we'll go right there for that leg. And then we'll put some little feet. Brush. Okay, so some feet. Something like that. those feel too big. Those look like crap. Alright, we're gonna adjust our feet a little bit. So, I think we're gonna go something like that with maybe... Okay, that looks a little bit better. I'm gonna go ahead and delete the other one. So, we're gonna go ahead and erase most of that. You might notice I'm deleting a little bit of his leg there too. That's fine. Then I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to hit mirror, and I'm going to stick it on the other side. And then I'm realizing that these are just a little bit too chunky. Okay, then some final touches. I'm going to go into body, and I'm going to color the bottom half here. I'm going to go ahead and give this guy a little... Oops. That wasn't the color I wanted. That's the color I wanted. You can go ahead and give him some pants. Then I feel like he got a little chunky, so I'm going to slim him out a little bit. And... oops, that's trying to draw on the wrong layer. Arms, do we think arms look better? I think arms look better like that. Oops. I think arms look a bit better like that. I'm going to give this guy some eyes, and I think I'm going to leave him there. What do you think? Should we make his hands a little handsier? Is that a little better or worse? I think that's probably worse. Okay. I'm basically happy with my little dude here. Yeah. I think he's looking all right. All right, so then I'm just going to do one last thing here. I'm just going to grab him, and I'm going to... Oops. Whoops. You guys see what I did there? I put his eyes on his frickin' arms. All right, so we're gonna delete the eyes here. We're gonna go back into the body layer. We're gonna put his eyes in the body layer. Alright, there. Now he's got eyes in the body layer. We should check that everything's the way it's supposed to be here. Alright, that's his body. I feel like that's alright. I think I might add... I'm just gonna add another couple of pixels for his shoulders. Yeah, I think that makes him look a little better. That way when we start moving his arms around, we won't run into a problem with a missing pixel. Alright, let's see. So, if we shut off body, those are indeed arms. Those are indeed legs. There's nothing extra here. Okay, great. So now I just need to scoot this whole thing down like 3 pixels. So I'm going to start with the legs. We're just going to grab the legs, and we're going to go down 3 pixels. Then we're going to grab arms. 1, 2, 3 pixels. Then we're going to grab a body. 1, 2, 3 pixels. Okay, and I'm a little concerned about the juncture between his body and his arms. So I'm going to turn the opacity. Okay, so it looks to me like he's just barely got legs. So what I did there was I turned the opacity down so I could see how much overlap there was. And I'm going to go ahead and just color in a little bit more. Oops, I'm drawing on the wrong layer here. Okay, so I'm going to grab his body layer, and I'm just going to color in the bottom of him a little bit. Again, just because as I start moving legs around, we might run into problems there. All right, great. I think I'm going to call that a day. So I'm going to switch his legs back up to full opacity. Okay, cool. Oh, he needs some hair. He either needs a beard or he needs some hair on his head. In keeping with my own sense of fashion here, I'm going to give him a beard. So we're just going to go down into the kind of brown, and we'll just give him a little bit of a beard. That looks terrible, Joe. How about that? Does that look like a beard? I think that looks like a beard. I'm going to dump a couple of pixels. Oh, why am I drawing on his legs? Damn it. Wrong layer again, Joe. Alright, let's go to the body layer. Okay, let's see. I want to draw on his... Okay, so I'm going to grab that brown color we just had. I'm going to grab the brown color we just had. And then let's go ahead and give this guy a little bit of a beard. Okay, and I'm going to dump a couple of pixels off of his shoulders just so he looks like he kind of has a bit more of a neck. That beard looks like it needs to be darker to me. Let's get a slightly darker. Why did that grab? Not sure why my bucket tool isn't cooperating with me. All right, so I feel like that's got my guy with a beard. All right, let's go and make an object. So I'm gonna go up here. I'm gonna create an object. The object I'm creating is gonna be obj underscore person. And we're gonna point this at a sprite. That's gonna be our little person. Okay, cool. And then we're gonna add a step event. And the step event we're gonna add is just gonna be a little bit of movement. So I just want him to kind of walk around. I don't want him to walk around real fast. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab this kind of, get a random number. So I'm gonna get a random integer between, let's say, -3 and 3. And we'll put this into a variable that we're going to call xSpeed. He doesn't have a variable called xSpeed, so we'll have to add that. And you know what? Let's add a variable that we'll call yspeed2. Okay. And then I'm going to get another random number that's going to be also an integer. This one's going to go from -2 to 2. And with that, we're going to target the yspeed variable. And then we're going to go ahead here and just do some variable assignment. So I'm going to assign a variable. I'm going to assign the x variable is going to get x speed added to it. And then I'm just going to copy this and paste it and swap the x's to y's. So now he should move up and down a little bit randomly. I kind of want this to be capped. So I'm going to throw in an if here. And I need to know something. The something I need to know is how big... What's the y value for my top of my room here? All right, so looking at this, I'm just going to go into edit image, and I'm going to say, all right, that's like 520 up there, and down here 760 something. Right, so what we want to do is we want to go ahead and grab our person object, and we want to say, if y is bigger than 520, oops, how about if y is greater than 520, then we'll do this assignment. So we'll move them around. Let's make it 500 just so they don't, no, let's make it 540. So that'll keep him from getting all the way off the grass. My concern there is I don't want him to start flying around. I want him to kind of move around on the horizontal there. So let's go back into our room. Oops, that's a background sprite. Why is that in there? I screwed up. That sprite shouldn't be in there. That should be in the sprites folder. What are we even doing? All right, so let's open the room. That's what I wanted. And now I need to put some person objects in here. So I'm going to just select that. I'm going to hit Alt, and I'm just going to kind of spam some folk in here. All right, so now I've got some randomly placed little dudes to watch. Okay, so let's hit play and see what happens. Oh, cool. They kind of move around. I'm just checking to make sure they go up and down, and I'm going to watch this long enough to be sure that they don't go anyplace kind of unexpected. Oh, I can see I've got some problems. I've got them wandering off the bottom of the screen. They're also wandering off the left and right edge of the screen. So we should probably try to limit that. So let's go back into our person object. And we're going to add some more conditions here, right? So we're going to say, if y is bigger than 540, we'll assign this variable. Let's see. Well, yeah, let's swap this out for an if expression. So the expression's going to be if 540 is less than y is less than 760. Oops. And I want to grab my assigned variable and add it to that. So we're only going to let them move if they're between 540 and 760. That is going to create the case that if they get stuck, they might get stuck to either the bottom or the top. So let's do if y plus y speed is in this range, then we'll go ahead and move them. That'll keep them from getting stuck to either the top or the bottom, because if they get too close to the top, it won't let them move up any higher, but it would still let them move down. And then I want to do this exact same thing for the x's. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that. I'm going to paste it. I do that all the time where I hit the control key while I'm moving my mouse. It's real annoying. All right. And here I want to do 0, and here we can do room width. And really, I guess for this one, for 760, I should do room height if I was not a hack and a fraud. Okay, so here we're going to change these to x's throughout. Dang it, I didn't want to get x speed, I wanted just x. All right, let's try that again. So now they shouldn't wander off the edges. They're a little jittery. This is a little bit too fast, I think. Oh. We're getting a little bit of flight. I'm not liking the flight. Oh, we're wandering off the edges as well. That's not good. Something's gone real wrong. Okay, so let's see. What's happened there? So I have this sneaking suspicion that I haven't done this syntax right. So let me try this a different way. Oops. So I have this sneaking suspicion that I have a sneaking suspicion that GameMaker doesn't probably like compound inequalities, which is pretty common for computer languages generally. Sometimes they're okay with it, sometimes they don't like it much. All right, let's try that. This should have the effect I was wanting. Okay, now we just played the waiting game. Oh, I just watched a guy leave the right-hand edge of the screen. Okay, we've got a problem. All right, so what's our problem? All right, so I think I figured out the problem. For one thing, I'm always adding the X speed here, so I don't want to do that because I want to check my if expression first. And then I've got another issue. So let me open up my sprite here. My sprite's being handled by the top left, which lets them get at least partway out of the room. So I'm going to set this to middle center, and then we're going to go back into our person here, and our sprite is 40 pixels by 40 pixels. So I'm going to need for them to be at least 20 pixels onto the screen, so the whole thing is on the screen. And I'm going to need them 20 pixels onto the screen. And then here for my room, for my height, I'm going to say I need to kick that down a further 20 pixels. And here I'm also going to need to subtract 20 pixels. So let's see if this has our expected effect. Okay, it looks like these guys are probably kind of probabilistically stuck to the top. I haven't seen them go down in a bit. These guys are getting kind of close to the bottom. Basically here I'm just waiting for an issue to crop up, right? I'm just waiting to see if one of these people wanders off the screen. And so far... Oh, I can see that guy got stuck. He bounced off the edge. So did that guy. I feel like I'm pretty confident now that this is actually going to work. I think that these couple, these three here, I think that their initial starting point was probably bigger than that 560. So let's go look at that. Let's go look in our room. This guy here, yeah, he didn't start far enough down. So he's only ever going to move side to side. Looks like I could probably relax my condition in there. So let's go look at that condition. So that condition is right here in the Y condition. And that's 560. I could probably relax that down to 500 just by the looks of it. So let's see now if those three guys move around. Okay, yep. Looks like they'll move up to the black line, but no higher. Great. Cool. All right. I think I've got this fixed. I've got my little people. They're wandering around. Next step next is going to be to get them up into the ship and abduct them. Maybe we'll see if we can get them panicking too. All right. Thanks for watching this one. I will catch you guys on the next one.